In 600 CE, there was a shift in global power. The rise of the Islamic empires impacted ancient and modern world history. However, they eventually fell in 1918. The fall of Rome left a vacuum, and there was no powerful or leading empire. Islam would soon fill this void. And even though Constantinople remained as the capital of the eastern half of the Roman Empire, the Muslims were constantly at war with them. The weak Persian Empire would eventually emerge into the Muslim Empire. The Islamic Empire, at their height, controlled southern Europe, northern Africa, and most of Asia. One of Islam's lasting legacies that it is known for was its ability to spread. A unifying force was the new religion Muhammad formed in the 600s. He was the last messenger of God, similar to Abraham, Moses, and Jesus, for they all believed in the monotheistic religion. He started with few followers and faced hostility from Meccan tribes, but this religion eventually unified the Arab tribes into one nation, first under the Umayyads and then the Abbasids. Luckily, the Roman Empire fell, so Muhammad could spread his religion. Otherwise, it would not have been as significant. The Umayyad Empire lasted from 661 to 750 CE, while the Abbasid Empire lasted from 750 CE to 1258. While most of Europe were in the Dark Ages, the Islamic Empire had its golden age. There were trade routes throughout Asia, exchanging ideas, goods, and wealth. Baghdad became the new capital of the Islamic world in 750. It held the House of Wisdom, where Muslim scholars learned more about medicine, science, philosophy, and mathematics. Baghdad was the cultural center for learning. It was conveniently located in the middle of Africa, Asia, and Europe. They had the first hospital, water mill, and disinfectant. Scholars all over the world wanted to come to Baghdad. To many people's surprise, algebra was started by the Arabs. Al-Biruni was a mathematician, physicist, astronomer, scientist, and a historian. He had many contributions to the world today, including the different phases of the moon. Also, the father of medicine developed surgical tools still in use today. The first man to fly was from the Islamic Empire and not the Wright brothers. They refuted the idea that Earth was the center and promoted the heliocentric model. The Islamic Empire had incredible mathematical breakthroughs. Instead of Roman numerals, Hindu-Arabic numerals were much easier to use in order to calculate and record. We still see a version of it today. The extensive libraries in Cordoba, Spain allowed Muslim, Jewish, and Christian scholars to preserve philosophy and rediscover math and the Hebrew language. The Islamic Empire controlled part of Spain, and their influence can be seen through their music. The next rising empire were the Mongols. They burned Baghdad to the ground and conquered much of the Middle East during the 1200s. Obviously, the ideas and the achievements of the Abbasid Empire lived on, but Islamic power overall declined. After the fall of the Abbasids in the 1200s, the remaining power was divided amongst the Ottomans, the Safavid, and the Mughals. However, an ongoing religious conflict is the Sunni-Shiite split. The British eventually controlled the Ottomans through diplomacy and funding. The Ottomans allied with Germany during World War I, while the Allies promised the Arabs independence. However, when they took over, it started the many problems that are still seen in the Middle East today. The achievements of the Abbasids are uncommonly referred to today. People know very little about the legacy of the Islamic empires. Perhaps it is because we are often known to the aspect of Eurocentric ideas or Orientalism. However, when we realize the importance of the Islamic empires, it is obvious that they affected world history.